I'm Kyle.
I'm Scott.
This is Crushing Trails
And Drinking Ales.
Today is episode 2 of the San Diego 100 series we're doing. We're going to give a little bit about our training, as well as give a course breakdown. So Scott, tell us a little bit about your training.
Yeah, but before we get into training, Kyle, what are you drinking tonight?
Tonight I've gone a little old school. One of my favorites, the Mama's Yellow Pills by Oscar Blues. It's a classic. Unfortunately, no longer over there in Austin anymore, but still like it.
Yeah, R.I.P. Austin, Oscar Blues. I'm drinking an Austin Amber from Independence Brewing right here in Austin, Texas, obviously by the name. But training. If anybody watched my series on the Leona Divide, it's basically just been kind of an extension of that, doing kind of a Monday through Thursday or Tuesday through Friday kind of weekly run, so to speak, with a couple quality workouts in there, doing a lot of speed on hills, kind of some threshold work, that sort of thing. And then Saturday, Sunday doing a long run and then a pseudo long run. And then typically my longer run on the weekend has been a progression run or some sort of workout in that. So actually did my last long run today, progression run. And so now it's time to taper. But Kyle, how's your training been in the last few months, I guess?
Yeah, I really haven't had much of a structured schedule for my training. I did Sean O'Brien in late February, and then I had a good opportunity to get some night running in with you when I paced you at Leona Divide. And that was a good 23 miles together, time on feet. And then I've just been trying to hit about 50 miles a week on average. I have had a little streak where it was a little lower than what I was hoping for, but also made it out to Arizona for Cocodona 250. Had 2 really good pacing runs with Tony out there, 19 miles one day and then like 30 and a half the next. So that particular one was like over 15 hours of time on feet. So all in all, I'm feeling pretty good with what I've put in and hoping that that'll take me to a sub 30 finish down in San Diego.
That Cocodona training was great. I mean, I got about a 15 and a half hour stretch there as well overnight. With very little sleep, which is, as we know, that's fantastic training for 100-mile racing. So, yeah, Cocodona was good, I think, for both of us.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the crewing side, like you said, it got me tired from just doing all that aspect. So when the time came to actually run with Tony, I was kind of on the same pace as what he was doing. That's kind of what we've done for training. Let's get into the course. We've done some research, I watched some videos, and you actually have some personal experience on there. So why don't you start us off?
We're going to run through the course from start to finish. A lot of this is from just research online. I have seen about half of the course, but that said, the course has changed since I ran it. So if we get anything wrong, please let us know in the comments so that's pointed out. We've gone through a lot of the videos. Cliffs and Meadows did a really great detailed breakdown of the course with video. We'll link that as well so you can go back and watch that. You don't just have to listen to us talk about it, but maybe this is the quote-unquote Cliff Notes version. But overall, the San Diego course, it covers 5 major areas: Lake Cuyamaca, Rancho Cuyamaca State Park, Mount Laguna Recreational Area, the PCT, and Noble Canyon and the Indian Creek Trails. The course is about 80% single track, which is pretty awesome. 17% forest road, and then there's about 3% asphalt. There are some technical sections, but a lot of it is also the kind of what you expect out of California, nice non-technical smooth sections as well. The PCT section is about 20 miles of the course, and there is about 15,000 feet of climbing on the course, which is, it's not crazy, but that's still a decent amount of climbing. So that's kind of a general intro. From there, we can just jump into the course. From the start, a couple of notes. If you're using poles, do not use them for the first mile of the course. It's pretty congested. Starting out on single track, you actually are not allowed to pass for the first half mile of the course. You'll see at about the half mile mark, there's some picnic tables and the course opens up a little bit more. So at that point, you can kind of start passing. But definitely keep those poles put away for the first mile, roughly a mile of the course. After the lake, you're basically going to make a big loop around Stonewall Peak on a mix of single track and fire road. eventually making a long grind up Coldstream and onto Stonewall Peak. Once you get up there, it's a pretty technical descent down the backside of Stonewall, and then it's a short run through the Meadows before you have to very carefully cross Highway 79 to the Trout Pond aid station. Just note that the cars will not stop for you. You need to stop for the cars at Trout Pond. The other thing is it's 12 and a half miles from the start to the Trout Pond aid station. Should be pretty cool, but you just need to make sure that you are planning for 12 and a half miles without aid. Leaving the Trout Pond aid station, you're going to jump on some fire roads, and we're going to begin the second climb of the day, which is Middle Peak. You're going to have some great views back over to Cuyamaca Lake. The fire road that you're on will eventually turn into single track at the shoulder of Middle Peak. And if you look out to the west, you can potentially see the Pacific Ocean on a clear day. And then also, if you look kind of out ahead, you'll see the radio towers of Cuyamaca Peak, which is actually your next aid station that you're headed to. From there, you're going to descend. You'll go through Four Corners, and then you're going to start up the famous climb up Los Conejos toward Cuyamaca Peak. Los Conejos is very rocky and technical. Even for somebody like me who runs technical stuff all the time, looking at a video, it is pretty technical. It's just rocks all the way up that climb. So it's going to be pretty technical on the way up. Eventually you will hit a paved road to take you up to the top of Cuyamaca where the aid station sits. From the aid station, you're going to go back down the asphalt road and you're going to jump on some very smooth single track. This is about the time it's going to start warming up. So make sure if there's ice at the aid station that you've got that you're topped off on fluids and you're ready to go. Enjoy the long downhill because you've just hit the highest point on the course. And it's going to be some super smooth trails. You're going to drop almost all the way back down to Highway 79. And then there'll be a short climb up to the airplane monument, which is a tribute to some airmen who lost their lives when their plane went down in 1922. That monument trail is pretty rocky, but from there, it's a pretty relatively short downhill into the Green Valley aid station. One note on the Green Valley aid station is the parking is very tight there. So your crew may have to park up to a mile away and hike in. So just make sure that they plan for that so that they don't miss you at the aid station. So Kyle, where do we go from Green Valley?
We're heading over to Sweetwater, which is a longer stretch, a little over 12 miles, but there is a water station about halfway through. It starts with a 1.5 mile climb up Pine Ridge. It's a smooth looking trail with some boulders here and there. I hear that there's some false summits on the way. There's a nice downhill stretch when you finally start it. Then you're going to hit a fire road and take a left. While you're heading over that way, enjoy the western views. From there, it's about a 3/4 mile stretch, and then you're going to take a right-hand turn onto the California Riding and Hiking Trail. You're going to continue on this and then take a hard left onto the Saddleback Trail. There's a lot of grief given about this trail. Apparently it's full of mud and it can also be overgrown with grass, which makes it tough to even keep an eye on when you're running. Though it trends downhill, they say don't expect to run a lot of it. When you get to the end of Saddleback, you're going to come across what passes as a river crossing in San Diego County. From the videos I've seen, there should be an opportunity to lay down in some of the water and cool yourself off. And the race directors recommend that if you're feeling pretty warm at that point in time. So enjoy it and take advantage of it. After the crossing, you've got about a mile until the unmanned water station. So when you get there, take the opportunity, refill your fluids before you head out. From there, it's a gradual but exposed climb up Blue Ribbon. And then you're going to take a right onto the fire road where you'll drop down onto Highway 79. From there, make a right on East Side Trail. There's about 2 miles or so of single track and fire road with some climbs along this section. Then you're going to come into Sweetwater. It has crew access and you're able to pick up a pacer for the first time there. When you're restocked, it's time to head out. So what you're going to do is take a left out of Sweetwater and get back onto the East Side Trail for about 2 miles. There's going to be a critical junction at what will likely be a dry creek in June. From there, you're going to hit the Harvey Moore Trail. This is the second to last big climb. We've been putting in a lot of work up to this point. You're going to be heading up switchbacks as you work your way into the high Cuyamaca Meadows. Along the trail, there's going to be a downed tree, so I'm sure that's going to be fun to cross. Then you're going to hit the connector trail that heads downhill to the lagunas. And then you're going to hit the old San Diego 100 course at the Fire Road. You're going to be on it for a couple short but steep miles up Pine Creek Road. And then you'll hit the water station at Big Oak. Scott, this is where you take over.
Pine Creek is water only, but it's your halfway point. You're at 49 and a half miles. There is a chance that there might be some ice there as well, but I wouldn't count on it. Let's call it a bonus if it's there. From there, it's only 2 miles to the next aid station, but it's all going to be on asphalt, and it's pretty exposed, although there's a few pockets of shade. I know this section well because, unfortunately, the last time I ran this is where I started dry heaving in the heat of the day. Luckily, it's only 2 miles down to Hammer's Hideaway. I will say from experience, when you get to Hammer's Hideaway, this is where you need to fill up, make sure your fluids are topped off, maybe spend a couple extra minutes getting hydrated, grab some ice, make sure you're cool and ready to go, because the next section is going to be rough. When you leave Hammer's Hideaway, it's time for Noble Canyon. This is your biggest climb of the day. It's 7 miles, and if you're there early enough, it's going to be pretty hot. Even if it's into the evening, you're probably still going to have a lot of heat. It doesn't start out too bad. It's a rolling climb through desert terrain. But once you get into the trees, that's when you're going to really start climbing in earnest. There'll be a creek crossing, which if we're lucky, there'll be some water there. You can get in and cool off, but most likely that's going to be dry. After that, it's time to hit the switchbacks. That's time to pull your poles out and start grinding. So, just basically put your head down and power through that thing. Eventually, you're going to get to a road crossing. There's an asphalt road there. That's about 5 miles into the climb. After that, the climb actually levels out a little bit. You're still going to have a climb after that. I don't know if it'll be there, but when I did this back in 2018, there was an unofficial aid station, or there were some people there that had a cooler with popsicles. So maybe we'll get lucky and there'll be somebody hanging out there giving out popsicles at that section. It's a little bit later in the day this time around, so maybe not. But just know that when you cross that road, you're still going to have 2 miles of climbing before you get to Penny Pines. And from experience, that is a very long 2 miles. But eventually you'll get to Penny Pines. There's a short out and back section to get into Penny Pines. And you can refuel at the top of that. Take a few minutes to regroup, and then it's time to head out from there. Once you leave Penny Pines, it's a pretty beautiful section of meadows. The trail is rolling. It gives your legs some time to recover. For a lot of those back of the pack people, back of the middle of the pack people, it's probably going to be dark, so you may not be able to see it. But the navigation can be a little tricky here, so just make sure you've got the course on your watch. Make sure you're watching the course markings. If it is dark, the stars should be amazing, so just take 30 seconds, turn your headlamp off, and look up at the stars if you're not pushing cutoffs. There are some rocky sections through here, but overall, the trails aren't too technical. Eventually, you'll make your way into the Meadows aid station. Leaving the Meadows aid station, the trail does continue to roll. It's pretty non-technical, and it gives you some more time to recover. This will be late night for most of us, and the course takes you back into the meadows. There could be some cows out there, so just watch out for those. Eventually, you will cross a bridge over a boggy area. You used to actually have to run through all that, and it was pretty much guaranteed you'd get your feet wet, but some of the funding from the race is actually went to building that bridge, so we get to keep our feet dry now. After that section, we will go through a mountain bike course that has a lot of obstacles, so just make sure you're on the lookout for that. Keep your headlamp on, make sure you're not tripping over anything. Feel free to do some mountain bike obstacles, jump around, I guess, if you want. And then eventually you're going to hit a roughly 2 mile, somewhat technical climb with lots of false summits on your way into Red Tail Roost before you actually hit that 1/4 mile drop down into Red Tail Roost. Once you get into Red Tail, refuel there, and then you're going to jump out onto a fire road for about 1.3 miles, and that's going to bring you on the PCT. You're going to hang a left and start making your way toward Canada. Pay attention for that turn. It is very well marked, but apparently people miss it every year, and if you go the wrong way, that is very bad for you. From there, you're going to be on the PCT for about 20 miles. if you can see across the desert, the views are going to be amazing. Even at night, apparently you can see to the Salton Sea if it's clear. This section can also be very windy, so make sure you watch out for your hat. This trail is very rolling and runnable if you've still got legs, but there are a few technical sections here and there. After your second road crossing, about a quarter mile later, you're going to turn left onto a very short trail down to Purr's Cabin, which will be an aid station there. In the past, this has been called Todd's Cabin. You may have heard that, but it's now called Purr's Cabin. From Purr's Cabin, you're going to go right back up that connector. You're going to jump on the PCT, take your left, and this section, during the daylight, the views are incredible. For most of us, we won't see these. Just know they're out there. The trail rolls for a bit, and then you're going to take a decent climb before a downward trend to Penny Pines 2. And at Penny Pines 2, you'll be just across the street from where you were at mile 59. Kyle, where do we go from Penny Pines 2?
Out of Penny Pines, it's a little out and back onto the PCT. And then you're going to be on that for about another 4 miles as you make your way to the next aid station. You're going to get to enjoy some beautiful mountain views if you're there during the daylight, which we may not be. But along this section, it looks like smooth running, so good opportunity to kind of turn over the legs. Then you're going to work your way to Pioneer Mail Aid Station. There's going to be located in a parking lot after you've made your way across a picnic area off to your left. Just continue along the trail and into the parking lot for Pioneer Mail. All right, now once you got yourself, serviced up and you're ready to head on out, you're going to be leaving Pioneer Mail back on the PCT. So you're going to enjoy some more fantastic single track with some relatively short rolling push to the next aid station. So this next aid station to Sunrise is the most dangerous section of the race, they say. There's limited cell reception out here, and the winds are usually crazy. The heat can be a bit fierce if you're heading there during the day or even in the morning, they say. In fact, in this section, they've had to evacuate multiple people, and nothing about this extraction is easy. So be smart. After a short climb, you're going to hit a paved road out here, and then you're going to go up and enjoy a little uphill until you hit a bump. And then you're going to start a very gradual downhill to the Sunrise aid station. Along the way, there's going to be plenty of frustrating pop-up hills to annoy you, and they say it can be a bit rocky as well, so that's something to consider. What you're going to want to do is keep an eye out for the Sunrise Highway marker. This is going to be your notice to exit the PCT, and then you're going to do a left-hand turn onto the connector trail that will take you to the aid station. You're going to head on out past the corrals, onto the trail for a bit, and then do a highway crossing. From there, you're going to come to a junction, when you're going to take a hard right onto La Cima Trail. The trail is going to follow the Sunrise Highway for some miles at this point, and then you're going to proceed left onto Pedro Fages. From here, you're going to continue on La Cima Trail, and you're going to enjoy some incredible meadow running with unbelievable views of some of the peaks you've already seen. Stonewall, Middle, and Cuyamaca Peaks. Finally, you hit Soapstone Fire Road, and then from there, you proceed right. At this point, you're smelling the barn. You're almost to the finish. Just a few miles left through some pine trees. You're going to go back past the horse stables, and then you're going to take a right. From there, you're going to pass through an opening in a wire fence and just essentially follow the lake along the trail. You're going to be able to see the finish line directly across the lake, but we have to go all the way down, even past some dry parts of the lake, and continue back around. It's going to seem like forever. But stay patient and soak it in. You can have as many family and friends run in with you from the picnic table section, so make it a party and enjoy that last little push. The race is over.
So grab that buckle, and we'll see you at Hopnana's Brewing for the after party. Cheers.
Cheers.